Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about solar panel farms and stranded assets because those two things are going to start going together more and more and more. West Virginia is getting a 3,000 acre solar panel farm. 3,000 acres. That is huge. And it is going right on top of an old coal mine. I love it. There's something poetic about that. But it brings us to something else that's going to start hitting the energy sector. I can see it happening anyway. A lot of their assets are going to become stranded. What that means is a company puts out money to get an asset, some kind of investment, right? And they do this with the expectation of it producing long term. And then something happens, and that asset isn't going to produce that money anymore. But they still have the cost of that asset. And if it drops too far, it becomes a liability. It isn't worth what's owed on it or what was spent. In the energy sector, I imagine this is going to start happening a lot. Because as the world moves away from dirty energy, a whole lot of stuff isn't going to have the value it used to. And you can think of simple stuff. Oil reserves, right? Let's say Company X has the rights to this chunk. Because they planned on sucking all of that out of the ground and selling it, they also plan their investments around that. They plan their expansions around that. They might have even borrowed against that. But as the world moves away from that kind of energy, well, what they can charge for that drops. If it drops too much, well, that asset becomes stranded. And it doesn't even have to be something like that. It could be the fact that as we move away from coal and oil, the demand for these products drops. Therefore, the relative supply seems higher, which means they have to charge less, which means assets become stranded. On a more personal level, let's say you put in solar at your house and your neighbors and their neighbors. Your whole neighborhood puts in solar. Your local energy company, your electric company, they're not going to be happy about that. Because that's revenue that they thought was going to be coming in. And more than likely they planned on. And now they're not going to get it. I know, poor oil companies, right? Why won't somebody think of the billionaires? The reason I'm bringing this up is well, twofold. One, I really do just think it's amazing that a former coal mine is going to be converted in the way that it is. There are a lot of states that they kind of built their economy around supplying energy. Just because the type of energy is changing doesn't mean that that can't still be the industry in that state. The state just has to keep up with the times. And it looks like West Virginia is at least going to make the attempt to do that. The other reason I'm bringing it up is even though I don't give investment advice, it's not something I'm an expert in. This just seems like something people might want to be aware of. If you have stock in oil companies and dirty energy companies, I would start thinking about reevaluating if it was me. But again, I'm not an expert. I'm not an economist. This just seems like something that's likely to happen to me. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.